How's it going, guys? Cameron here with Canadian Gamer coming at you with another video. I've got a few pickups to show you guys today. Yep. Get my fix on. Oh yeah, that heroin feels good. Oh. So a couple of things to talk about here. The first thing is our good old friend PK in the universe. Remember I mentioned he took a 25-day hiatus? Well, now he's back, and instead of posting one video every 5 days like he used to, he's trying to overcompensate or sort of recuperate all the watch time that he lost because he took 25 days off. So now he's posting daily videos. So it kind of brings the question, why did you even take 25 days off if you're just going to come back with a vengeance and post daily videos and burn yourself out that much quicker? It makes no sense. Oh my God. The second thing that also ties into PK in the universe, he loves to censor people. He's just like Master System Marceau. If he's disgruntled with you, he'll just block and ban you to high heavens. Well, Elon Musk, Marceau's favorite billionaire, has announced he's removing the ability to block people on X, formerly known as Twitter. Now that's going to piss PK and Marceau off because they can no longer block people. And that means I can see your tweets! Oh, fuck, man. It's too funny. These guys, eh? These guys. PK's going to lose his shit when he sees this video. Oh, man. Too funny. It's too funny. What are you going to do, PK? What are you going to do now? What are you going to do? I can see your tweets. I can see your tweets. Anyways, enough of that. So, I did have something else I wanted to talk about. Oh, yeah. I posted a link on my community tab if you want to check out Guns N' Roses' new song they released yesterday, I think it was. And it's pretty good. It is. It sounds like something that could have been on Use Your Illusion 1 or 2. It sounds very old school GNR. It's a previously unreleased track from the Chinese Democracy sessions, and it was re-recorded with Slash, Axel, and Duff. So yeah, check it out. Got it on the community tab there. Really good song. So let's get on with today's pickups, and I've got a few things to say with regards to this. So I'm not going to say exactly where I was, but let's just say I was in an area that had a couple of pawn shops, and these were, well, at least one of them was one of the most shadiest fucking pawn shops ever. And I'll get to that in a minute. The first pawn shop, not that bad. I went in there, and they had kind of like a showcase where they had to unlock it for you to have access to the Game Boy games, the 3DS games, and the Game Boy Advance games, which totally makes sense because as a pawn shop, you don't want people walking in there with access to GBA games or Game Boy games. They're like this small. Well, 3DS games are the smallest, right? Size of an SD card. Anyways, I picked up this shmup, and it's called Iridian 3D. Now, I didn't actually... I'm not quite sure if Metal Jesus Rocks talked about this one time, but I thought maybe I had heard of it, so I had picked it up. I think I got it for $10. Now, the funny thing is, this was a launch title on the GBA. Now, it's not a good game. I did play it. It's dare I say, terrible. It's a one-button shmup. It's just, I don't know. I don't think it's very good. But as far as the graphics are concerned, what this studio, whoever it was that developed this game, was able to pull off on the GBA, and it's apparently not even true super scaling, but it gives off kind of like a 3D effect, even though it's 2D. I can't explain it. I'll have to show some gameplay footage maybe later on this week. But I don't know, maybe I have to go back and try it again. But yeah, Iridian 3D, and there was a sequel, Iridian 2, on the Game Boy Advance as well. And then there was a spiritual successor, that came out on the DS along with a sequel to that as well. So if you're curious, you can look it up online, Iridian 3D. And so what had happened was, I can't even talk. They were asking $10, I think, $5. $5 a piece for these PS2 games, and then he wanted 10 for this, and I said, would you take 15 for all 3 games? And he said yes. So basically this was $10, but I got it for 5. Long story short. Short story long. And I picked up, I've come across this before, but I've never picked it up, and this is the first time I picked it up because my good old buddy, Megadan29, although he's not a big fan of the racing genre, is that how you pronounce it? Genre? He said he was a big fan of this game, or at least he was back in the day, and he played it on the 360. He said, you can get this on the original Xbox as well. That's Juiced for the PS2. So I finally picked up Juiced. I feel like there is a sequel to this. I'm going to have to look it up later. But yeah, Juiced. You got the RX-8 on the front. And it is CIB. Complete in box. No scratch on the disc. Mint. And I've wanted this for quite a while as well. And that's Racing Italiano. I've been wanting this in the collection. I'm not going to get into it here, but it is a companion piece to Ferrari Challenge on the PS2, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's the same dev team. I'll have to look that up. Could be wrong. But I wanted it. I really wanted it for the collection, and I've got it. So that's awesome. So I go over to this other pawn shop. Really sketchy. I go in there. There's guns on the wall. I could have swore there was handguns on the wall. Now, maybe not. Maybe they were BB guns, but they look like fucking handguns. And in Canada, you can't buy handguns over the counter. It's not that easy. It was a sketchy pawn shop. I went in there. There was a couple of guys, older guys in their 50s. And they were talking shop. And one guy was saying, yeah, he's like, I got out of jail. I was arrested. I beat up my son. And then the cops came at me again. And I told them, I'll beat him up again. I don't give a shit. And just all kinds of whacked out shit. Guys that you don't want to cross them. You don't want to piss these people off. You just want to sort of go in there. The thing is with pawn shops, if it's a real sketchy area of town, a real sketchy pawn shop, just mind your P's and Q's. Don't make eye contact with anybody when you go in there. Be as polite as pie. Okay, if somebody's in your way, don't try to barge in. Let them stand there for 20 minutes if they have to and wait for them to move, okay? Don't encroach them. The last thing you want to do is piss somebody off at a pawn shop and get pistol whipped. So that's kind of what happened here. I was very careful. I sort of maneuvered my way around. And in these seedy pawn shops, sometimes it's maybe not best to try to negotiate because, again, you could piss somebody off. And so I did try to negotiate, but what's kind of interesting about this, so what I ended up picking up, now I've wanted this for a while. I haven't really talked about it much on the channel, but I've been wanting this for a long time. So this was done by Raven Software, and this is using the idTech 4 engine, I believe. idTech 3, idTech 4, the one that was used in Doom 3. And that's Wolfenstein. So this is kind of like a reimagining. So it is its own game, but they called it Wolfenstein. But it takes place kind of in the future, and you've got these alien cyborg Nazis that are coming at you. It looks really, 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 really cool. And the thing about this, for those of you who watch my videos, you know, several months ago, I played through Return to Castle Wolfenstein on the PlayStation 2, and I actually loved it. I loved it. That was probably the best gaming experience I've had so far in the year 2023. Return to Castle Wolfenstein. What is it called? The Tides of War? Or is that what it's called on the Xbox? I fucking love that game. Awesome. And this one looks really good as well. I am biting my lip because I want to just put this on right now and say screw everything else. But I've been kind of jumping around anyways with my games. But man, I'm so happy to... I can't believe it. I just can't believe I found it. I haven't been able to find this freaking game in the wild. I haven't been able to find it. So I picked it up. I didn't see a price on it. And then, again, this is what I talk about. When you're hunting out there in the wild, you go out 50 times looking for games. And sure, maybe 49 times you find fuck all. But that one time you're going to find something, that was me today. And I was able to find a loose copy of Roadkill for the PlayStation 2. Now, what's funny about this game is... Now, by the way, these two cases, I have to mention this right now. These two cases were like really dirty and yellow and gucked up. Stickers all over them. I cleaned these. I rinsed these out in the sink. I washed them with soap. I scrubbed the stickers off. I scrubbed the shit out of these cases to try to clean them as best as I could. But yeah, I picked up Roadkill, and the disc is mint. There's no scratches on the disc. And so I didn't know what the price was. And what did the guy say? I walked up and I said, would you give me a deal on this? Because you're missing the sleeve. I said, would you take... what did I say? I said, would you take 15 for the both of these? I don't know what he said. Apparently there was a sticker on this. This was $15, okay? And he ended up basically giving me both of these for 15. So he essentially gave me this for free, if I'm being honest with you. He probably wanted 5 for this and 15 for this. So I was like, yeah, would you take these two for 15? And he's like, no, this is already 15. I'm like, okay. And he's like, I'll give you this for free. I'm like, okay, cool. So yeah, I picked up Roadkill, which is kind of like, I mean, I haven't played it, but I imagine it's similar to Twisted Metal. Okay? Or Blood Drive on the Xbox 360. But today, the biggest pickup of them all was absolutely Wolfenstein on the PS3. And that is CIB as well. But you know what? Getting back to Roadkill, I kind of want to do a separate video talking about this. Because this is one game that you absolutely never see out in the wild. But yet, if you go on eBay, it's actually quite common. For whatever reason, it's cheaper on the original Xbox than it is on the PS2. I don't know why. I checked today, and this game's going for about $25-30 Canadian plus shipping on the PS2. And then I saw a copy on the original Xbox that was under $20. But it's hard to find in the wild. So I want to do a separate video kind of talking about that. How there's certain games that are extremely obscure and rare and hard to find out in the wild, but they're common online because all the scalpers are selling them online. I'd like to do a video on that because there's several games that I can definitely mention that I never see out in the wild, but you go online and you see a bunch of copies. So yeah, Roadkill is definitely one of them. So that's it. Those are my pickups for today. Cut it off right at the 14-minute mark. I don't have much else to talk about. Anyways, I hope you guys are having a great night wherever you are. And I think tonight maybe I'll put on Wolfenstein. I don't know. We'll see. So that's going to do it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. You people are wonderful and beautiful.